So there's some pretty cool things out here. Things that I know from my last time out here that are a little off the beaten path. And then a couple things that I think might be here that I'm going to look for today and see if I can confirm or deny whether they're still there. And it's always hard to say where we are. This place is pretty old, and a lot of stuff from around 100 plus years ago, or even thousands of years ago, is still visible, but things do get forgotten, they do get moved or taken, so yeah, we'll see what lies in store today. Okay, so where we are right now, this road here, it's currently a service road, but this actually used to be the railway through here. And they shut it down around the 1920s because it was incredibly steep, very, very dangerous. But the good news is, a lot of it is still followable. And I remember this part from last time because it looks really cool, but I don't recall it actually leading anywhere. And you can hear the current train line above us. So I'm going to actually spend a little bit more time now in this area, because I have more time to, whoop, or maybe I don't want to spend more time up here. How fresh are you? Ooh, it's pretty fresh. So, maybe I don't necessarily want to be in this area right now. Which is fine, again, considering there really wasn't much to see. Yeah. Alright, not railway related, but I've just come up to the old railway area, and before I show that, I just wanted to walk over here because it's kind of cool. It's like a little drained out marsh, very, very squishy underfoot, and that's really neat. It's like a little water grotto that everything's coming out of. I like that. Yeah. Beautiful little space. Very glad it took a second to come over here. Awesome. Okay, so my memory thankfully did not fail me. I found the cool thing, the first cool thing. And I want to kind of set the scene for you as to what this is. So again, the rail line would have come down here, and it's probably a little hard to tell with the camera, but this is pretty steep, especially for an old train from the 1800s. So if you are like speeding along, going super, super fast, and you realize that your brakes aren't sufficient or something's gone wrong, maybe you have a bigger load than you intended, you're just out of control, what they built into the rail line were a series of runaway tracks, of which we have one right here. So you can see just off to the left of the main line, they could switch the track over, and this climbs up and is pretty steep, and would hopefully provide the crew with a bit of relief and be able to slow them down before they got hurt. And we are going to follow it, because I know that there are a couple of interesting sights along the way. And it is kind of cool to walk on it. You can see how over the years the ballast that they laid the tracks on has been kind of slowly recolonized by someone's footprint there. Interesting. It's been slowly recolonized by the plant community, but it's still pretty apparent what this was and what purpose it served. So it took me a hot minute the first time I came here. I was very confused. I figured it might have been the Runaway lane, but I wasn't 100% sure. Because I always imagined it would be steeper. You know, like how they have Runaway truck lanes. But for a locomotive, this is pretty steep. There you go, there's like a little sticker or something there. Now we're gonna go and explore in the trees on the way up a couple times. But I kinda wanna walk to the end first. And you can kind of see the animals are using this. I am definitely going to need to check myself for ticks when I get home. And we'll just keep on walking. I like this here. Look at how they built up the ballast. I'm curious for what? What are they on the other side here? Oh, interesting. That's just like a little washout. Oh, okay. So this whole thing would have extended across, and they like basically blasted this apart or moved it to get the emergency lane through. That's cool. Could have just been a huge debris slope, an unbroken debris slope. Very cool. As you can see, it goes pretty far back, but now coming up on some more signs of human habitation. I imagine for a pretty long period after they stopped using the rail line here, they were just using this as a dump. So we're gonna go have a little look in a second here. I'm gonna go check out the end of the line first because it's just up ahead, but in here they have lots of little knickknacks and doodads. I think there was a camp in there or something. But we're gonna go to the end here because it's very close. And we'll walk back and do some more exploration in the trees. And here we go. Duck into these trees here. This way. Pretty cool. This is the end of the old emergency lane, but that is where the current rail line is, way up there. So they really didn't build everything too far apart. And I am curious because I never actually explored this area too much the first time. So I'm gonna have a little look around here, see if I can see anything cool. Kind can already see some old stuff. Again, this was probably when they were building the line, maybe a little work camp, or much later on they're probably just disposing stuff here. Like, it's like, I think an old lamp, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I'll actually point you at it. Yeah, this looks like, I think, an old lamp. Pretty cool. I can hear a river over here, which I'm curious about. I'm not going to go up to the rail line because both there are active trains moving very quickly through there, and it's a risk to crew and to me. Here we got a really old, it's like a railway tie. You can see the, I don't know if this would have been a mounting bracket or what for the actual rails. And someone had a little fire over here at some point. Pretty cool. They chopped down a bunch of these trees, which I'm kind of curious about. Not sure if they would have used this for construction material. I doubt for the railway. This is not really crazy good timber or anything. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up to the edge there because I can hear something like water in that direction. I'm gonna go check that out. I couldn't hear anything over the sound of the highway behind me. Some more random garbage, old piece of metal. Nothing very exciting. Yeah, these are the kind of stumps that I look for when I'm out here exploring. I mean, these are like beautiful. They're pretty darn obviously they've been cut recently. But yeah, that kind of thing. It says that humans are through recently, or that. It's a good sign that you're going to find something kind of cool. Yeah, as you get further down here, there's going to be more just general debris and crap. Old railway junk. And here's our water source. Little babbling brook. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so we're back to that little earlier place that I was showing you all with the junk pile, and I'm just curious. I always wondered what this was. I assumed my first time through that this must have been some sort of camp back in the day. There's a lot of these like pipes, but they're really long. Like at first I thought they might be stove pipes for a camp, for a cabin or a wall tent or something, a big canvas tent, but no. And then there's all this lumber here, which some of it looks like it's wide enough to be railway ties, but not all of it does. And there's a huge just piled up, very, very old. Like a lot of this stuff is pretty heavily decomposed at this point, but it was all stored here. There's like a little, go check that out in a second. I want to walk over all of this. Some sort of little rusted thing back there. But yeah, this area strikes me, it must have been some kind of, maybe not a camp where people were living, but potentially it was a place where they just had a lot of stuff set up. Like, yeah, here, got an old toolbox, which is pretty cool. And then there's an old beer bottle, or some kind of drink bottle. I won't say it's beer. Maybe they were probably not drinking on the job back then. This looks like another maybe old toolbox of some sort. These I'm not sure. It's a big hose, which I'm not going to disturb because 10 to 1 that has asbestos in it might be an old friable asbestos hose. Maybe not, but I don't want to mess around either way. You can see what color of paint they were painting whatever it was back here. Yeah, I'm just curious, like a lot of this stuff is just really old, mangled up, rusted things. I'm not really sure, like, if it was old cars that they were smashing up here. I don't see why the railway would be doing that. But it keeps going. Like, there's an old, see a barrel back over there? Try and take you guys over to that. Got a paint can here. It's a big refuse pile, but like some of this stuff seems like you wouldn't really just throw away. Like that looked like it was in okay condition. I would assume 60 years ago it was, you know, probably pretty decent, because it still looks okay today. The paint is still on it, so I'm assuming that, you know, that wouldn't have necessarily been thrown away. A lot of this stuff definitely would have been. But again, this looks like it was almost stacked up and ready to go, right? Oh, there's that rusted thing. It was another can of some sort. Let's see. I spent some time here last time, but not a lot. Another, lots of crumpled cans. And then this is a big, yeah, a big drum of some sort, big barrel. Not really sure. No, I doubt there's anything in there. Maybe I'll see it on the replay, but I doubt there's anything left. And then the rest of that side field that would have been here before the railway, I'm assuming. Like this, all these rocks look all pretty old. I don't see anything. Oh no, actually I do see something. They have more of that wood piled up here. So I'm not sure what this was. It's fascinating to me. Yeah, I actually did not see this last time. But yeah, this is all wood. Definitely done by the railway, or used by them. Very, very old. There's something here. What's that? Looks shiny. Check it out. A bunch of stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, here we go. This looks more recent, actually. Another stainless steel. No, maybe not stainless steel. Anyway, some kind of metal thing. Wow. And yeah, I don't doubt that this would have been a dump of some sort. I'm just curious, like, primarily all the wood. What are you using that for? This thing's like part of some machine. Let's head down here. I'm just curious, if I go down even further, if there's anything left. If that was kind of the extent, like where does this debris field slash dump end? This looks like we're back into the forest at this point. Yeah. Yeah, that looks a little bit more. I'll check over there in a second. But this looks like it's back to being undisturbed, which is good. In here, it's kind of interesting. We walk along the base side here. No, more wood. Interesting. Anyway. I mean, the trees would have been probably a lot smaller when they were dumping this. They probably just backed it all in and tucked it in and went, well, it's wood, it'll decompose. Which is true, so it's probably all treated wood. I don't know how quickly that's going to decompose. Anyway, let's come around this side. I'm curious if there's anything here, otherwise we'll work our way back up towards the main pile. Look around. See the road down below. Yeah, okay, I think they probably didn't do any dumping back here, so that's good. Ooh. Maybe I won't walk on the mossy rocks. They conceal pitfalls. And I've got an emergency beacon and a radio, but I don't want to have to use them. So we'll go back to where it's a bit more stable. Let's see. Oh! Here's something. It's like an old filter. First I thought it might be a weird mushroom, but no, that's definitely some kind of old old air filter or something. Neat. Oops. Let's go explore the other end of this junk pile, and once we've seen that, we'll go down to the main event. Try and do that while the light is still good. Here's the edge of that machine from before. That's a little plastic under there. Cool. No touchy. Here's something else. Yeah, just random bits of steel and iron that they just hooked. And this one, okay, this is another thing that made me think this was a camp, because there's a workbench. And like, not a terrible one. Again, 30 years ago, this might have actually been still in decent shape. It's obviously not anymore. Maybe it was crappy, they threw it out at the time, but like, yeah, it's not bad. None of this is bad. That looks like the buffer of some old cart of some sort, hey? You can see the metal nailed into the wood. Kind of forms like almost a little frame here. It's kind of cool. I wonder if that's what that was. Okay, I'm not seeing much else over here, so we'll keep on going. I think that's the extent of the main debris pile. There's some old, looks like old tubing over here. Yeah, old rubber, maybe an old car wheel, or car tire, excuse me. Yeah. I'm not seeing anything else though. So maybe we'll slowly make our way back. Keep our eyes peeled in the trees. See if this old line has a few more things for us to discover still. Talk to you soon. Huh. Somebody was doing some planting up here. I believe that is dogwood. Good job, sign. Oh, there's another one. Let's see. More dogwood. You were both correct. Be proud of yourselves. Look at this rock. That is beautiful. I don't know if the colors are coming through on screen very well, but my goodness. To me, it's just like the most breathtaking gold. It actually looks like there might be maybe some sulfur deposits, or possibly just maybe pollen that got collected there. Still, very, very cool. Love the striation, love the kind of texture of this thing. Awesome. Sweet. So we come off of the service road here, and boom. You can see remnants of that trail. It really isn't that old of a trail. It was only decommissioned a couple of years ago, which is why it's still in relatively good shape. But this is kind of the grand finale here. Well, I hope to find something else, but this is, I think, the main point of interest today. It's pretty cool. So awesome. so cool. Ooh. So this is, there you go, an old 1880s era steam locomotive. That's what it would have looked like when it was brand new. This one is very obviously not brand new anymore. And I believe the plaque back there says it, so if you want to pause the video and watch, you can kind of learn about this guy. But basically, it was used to help build the new rail line, and then in the 20s they just left it here. It was at the time around 40-year-old engine. They didn't, I guess, really have a need for it at that point, so they yeah, abandoned it on this hill. Eventually it looks like the embankment here eroded, and yeah, the poor old girl just flopped on her side, and that was the last of her. You can see her tenders in the back, smokestack right here. Yep, that's solid. Yeah, it's just neat. I mean, it's a shame to see it like this, but on the other hand, aside from it being a breeding ground for mosquitoes, it's kind of cool. It's a really neat way to look at how steam trains work. You got a boiler right there, right? Like, it's basically giving you a full anatomical view of how these trains are built and run. So you got the old bumper there. I don't think there's too many of these still living. It's a bit of a shame. I actually found a letter once from a fellow in the 1990s who had requested that this be saved. They petitioned the local government to try and move it and put it somewhere where it's not going to deteriorate, and yeah, they decided to leave it in situ. They decided to leave it kind of where it was, to degrade naturally and let nature take it over, which, you know, I love old engines personally. I'm a big fan of trains, but I'm also a big fan of nature, and I think there's a certain beauty to something like this. You know, just seeing the remnants of this very proud, very old machine just kind of sitting here in this forest. And I mean, it's been here for well over 100 years at this point, and probably most of it's still going to be here 100 years from now. Imagine the wood's not going to be as prevalent, but like the tender's in fantastic shape still. Like, if you're just leaning on its side like it's been for so long. Now granted, it wasn't like this 100 years ago. It probably fell over, I don't know, say back in the 40s or 50s would be my guess. I think there was a report from someone living in the area back in the 50s who talked about this little narrow gauge steam engine, and didn't mention it being like wrecked or anything, though I'm doubtful that it was usable by that point. Yeah, just brilliant. We'll go back, walk around to the front. A couple of things I want to explore that I didn't get to see last time. Last time I came through here it was very dark. Right now I've managed to make it so that the sun's just starting to go behind the mountain, so I have a little bit more daylight than last time, but I'd like to spend some time with it. It's cool. It's a beautiful little train. Boiler. Really thick leaf layer too, and you can kind of feel though the whole thing is a little shaky. Old riveted hull. Alright, for my potential finale, I want to follow this. I'm just curious, like, was this like a little sideline that they just sort of, ooh, that is some big nasty weeds right there. Was this like a little sideline that they just kind of dumped the train in, that they made for it, or did this connect to something? I'm going to go answer that question right now because I'm very curious. Wow, there are some nasty, nasty strands of Devil's Club here. Holy moly. That is not my favorite plant in the world. Yeah, gonna go out on a limb and assume that this is probably the end of whatever little branch line they built for this poor little train. Maybe it curled up a little bit and went into the woods there. I'll go stand on this. I don't want to walk in all. I'm not gonna walk in all that, but I can on the rock here. Just see if I can. Maybe not. Might be snow over there still, actually. Well, dang. This looks kind of traveled. Pull this through a little bit. And the important thing here is I know how to get out. I go that way. And in fact, here I am, back at the road. So I'm going to follow this for a little bit longer because I know that the service road eventually turns into like an actual road at one point, but the original line keeps going. I've seen it on Google Maps a couple of times. So I'm going to try and follow this for a little bit longer, and we will see if I can find something cool at the end of the old line. Okay, talk to you soon. Sweet, so now for the grand finale, we have this. And I'm not sure what this is. I've seen it on Google Maps a couple of times. This is either another runaway lane, but much more narrow, or maybe the original line, though it seems to climb. I always figured that it descended from the satellite imagery, but obviously it doesn't. So that's the service road, it keeps on going. We're going to head up here and see what's waiting for us at the end. As you can tell, this one has definitely not been walked on in a very long time. I am going to get many splinters, I think. Scratches, and all sorts of gifts from the forest. But maybe what we find at the end of it will be worth it. But otherwise, if not, it's been a good day in the Rockies. And what more can you ask for? You know? Yeah, very obviously, it's an old roadbed, actually. I've seen this on old fire roads. Just a shorter version of it. These little tiny pine trees start to sprout up out of the ground. Once the road has been abandoned for a long time, which this guy definitely has been. Do some crawling and leaping. All sorts of fun stuff. I always like when the trees kind of grow in like this. It's almost like they're acting like gatekeepers for the road. It's cool looking. If not at times, a little annoying to walk through. Taking some leaves home with me now. You know, this is actually not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. This is actually in really decent shape. I think it helps not too many of these big trees have fallen over. But, no, this is nice. This I like. Very peaceful too. There we go. I think we're nearing the end, which should, if nothing else, offer us a pretty cool view. I have not seen anything. Oh! Spoke too soon. Look at that! Paint cans! Hey! Who was own? Old Shell. I'm not too sure what he was. Oh, Shell Zone. Sorry. So oil cans, probably. Very cool. Kind of see some of the old design on that guy. Not too far now. I assume I probably walk up a lot of these drainages here. It's an old creek bed there. That's kind of cool, actually. Be a neat place to go explore someday. Probably annoying though with all that moss. I really wouldn't want to destroy it either. That moss takes a long time to settle. Strongest twig in the world is blocking me right now. Look at this thing. Almighty. There we go. I have overcome the twig. Truly I am a master of nature. Ugh. A little more overgrown here, probably because these trees actually see light. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Breaks away much more gradually than I thought it would. What do we got? Ooh, what's this? Oh, it's neat. It's like a big oil spring of some sort. What on earth are you? Oh, there's a few of them. Is this an old fence? Could be an old fence. Whoops. Maybe not. Maybe not a fence, but yeah, look. Very old. A few more of them down here. Kind of curled up funnily on the end there too. I don't know what these are. I thought maybe it would be a fence, but that's not right. Maybe an old way of stabilizing the embankment up here? No idea. If you know, let me know, because that is really cool. Alright, let's keep going. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Holy moly. Oh, there we go, something else. Another old piece of iron of some sort. It's going to be a lot of what you find around the railways in general. Oh, I think... Is this the end of the road? Looks like it might have been. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's give a little exploration around here, and then I think we'll call it a day. Really what I want to do is I just want to walk around this little patch here, because I'm betting, yeah, probably use this as another dump ground. Another old tire there. And they were just big tubes. Actually pretty clean. Kind of nice. Yeah. Not shabby. Nice to see a clean space every now and then. Oh, got a couple pieces of old stuff here, which is always kind of exciting. Neat. We'll have a little bit more poke around, and then I think we'll call it. So, No more big surprises, but quite a nice view for me to have my my dinner next to. It's pretty great looking up there. Now it's interesting, I'm gonna go back a little bit here. We'll see, hopefully. Okay, so just over the ridge, I'm trying to point up my finger there, right there. I'm gonna take a picture of it with my cell phone because it has a zoom lens. You can see there's a hole in the mountain with a big gate over it. And that was a mine up until I think the 1950s that was open. And on the other side of this big scree field here, there was a whole mill, and it employed quite a lot of people back when they were mining in these mountains. There's a few more of them over there on that side as well. So they would have these like tram lines that you would kind of load up from on the bottom, and they would carry you in these buckets, and you would go to work every day at the top of the mountain. And there's a bunch of them, like on this peak here. There's a ton of these little like holes and stuff that they've got sealed up right now. But yeah, really cool piece of history to be able to be up close to. Yeah, I really hope that you all enjoyed learning with me today, doing a little exploration. I thought it was kind of fun to bring people along on one of these for once, so to speak. And yeah, hope to do a few more of these before the summer is done. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and well, bye-bye for now.